100 of the best science fiction movies, man. Today, man, we're on 77, but yesterday we talked about Source Code. Of course, I record these ahead of time, a little bit ahead of the game, so I'm really interested to see what people's response to this was. Because it's one of those runs, like I said on the podcast, man, it kind of really just came out and then disappeared. So I'm eager to see what people's thoughts on Source Code were, man. But if you haven't checked out that particular podcast, man, go back and check that bad boy out, and also go back and check that movie out, as I urged you to back then. But today, man, we're talking about number 77 on the list, and we are back in the world of Trek. That's right. Today is Star Trek First Contact. Man, 1996. God damn, I'm getting old out here, people. Let's talk about the synopsis of this Star Trek First Contact. Let me get this pulled up again. There we go. There it is. Resistance is futile. The Borg, a relentless race of cyborgs, are on. Oh, cyborg. I just now put that together. Pardon my stupidity. A relentless race of cyborgs are on a direct course for Earth, violating orders to stay away from the battle. Captain Picard and the crew of the newly commissioned USS Enterprise E pursue the Borg back in time to prevent the invaders from changing Federation history and assimilating the galaxy. Far and away, without much competition, if you ask me, the best of the Next Generation cast of movies, man. This is one of those joints I remember it like it was yesterday. This is coming off the heels of Star Trek Generations, which was, the passing of the torch movie. Generations is okay. It's not going to be on this list. It's okay. A good way to wrap up the Kirk and original kind of business while introducing Picard to the Next Generation crew to the big screen. It's fine. And then this joint came out, and I was like, yo, Cat stepped their game way up for this movie, man. November of 96, man. The dilemma was set before me. Do I go to the big high school football game, or do I go see Star Trek First Contact? And I remember cats were stressed about this in high school, man. Of course, I went and saw First Contact, man. We lost that game like 1,000,000-0 anyways. Directed by Frakes, Jonathan Frakes, man. Riker himself. He was never finer in a director's chair. We see the Next Generation's arguably best outright villain after the events of Best of Both Worlds Part 1 and Part 2, the season was at season 3 finale and the season 4 opener, that little cliffhanger business there. I think that was the first time they'd done that on Next Generation. The overt references to Ahab with Picard's like half fear, half obsession driving him throughout the movie. I love the fact that it reinforces the idea or the idiom "never meet your idols," because we find out that your boy Zefram Cochrane wasn't originally this grand idealist that the history books had made him out to be. He was just a dude who made something. He was just a regular cat who didn't like all this pressure that they were putting on him. And also, we find out that while it's his name that's attached to warp drive technology in Star Trek, who was behind him the whole time? A black woman. Alfre Woodard. I think that's the first time I remember seeing Alfre Woodard in a film, and she's always a delight to see. Shout out to Black Mariah. This movie has a little bit of everything, man. It's got some suspense in there, some good action. You're working on that ticking clock. The goofy shit with Picard and Hollow Suite as Dix is kind of whack, but there's enough good going on here that I can forgive it. And that sweet, sweet Enterprise E, my favorite rendition of any Enterprise ever. I can't get enough of it, and I cannot get enough of this movie. I love me some First Contact. Not the last we'll talk about Star Trek on here. There's, I think, 3 more left somewhere up the list. We'll have to get to them when we get to them. But let me know what your thoughts are on Star Trek, the next First Contact there. Has it been a while since you watched it? I wanted to sit down and rewatch it before doing this, but then I remembered I just rewatched it earlier this year for our Star Trek draft, or last year for a Star Trek draft that we did. That movie still holds up. I don't care what Brian Martin has to say about it. First Contact is the dopest of the TNG joints, and just legitimately a good movie, man. So we'll be back in 24 of the hours to discuss what number 76 is. What is it? We'll just keep on following along on this journey that we're taking, man. Until then, we'll see you next time, and have a good one.